Good morning, everybody. This is Mrs. Vega. If you're watching this, that means you're part of my kangaroos group. I tried to draw a little kangaroo there, but you know me. My drawing skills aren't my strength, but I still try anyway. I have a couple of learning targets, that we are going to work on today. And I have a couple of targets for reading and for math. And these are going to help you do your work packets for the week. So when you pick up that packet Monday or Tuesday, you can watch this video and it should help you be able to do the activities that are in there. So we're going to start with reading. I'm going to read it and then I want you to say it with me. I know the name and sound for the letters Y and Z. You say it. I know the name and sound for Y and Z. You might not know it yet, but we're going to practice it and you'll know it by the end of this video. I am going to share my screen now. And when I do that, you'll start to see that I have some pages of the packet up here for you to view. I also have a little whiteboard that I'm going to be drawing on, and I hope you enjoy it. So the first letter we're going to talk about is Y. A Y has a little line and a big line. And the letter Y says the sound Y. When you say Y, your chin drops and you can feel a little push of air come out from the back of your mouth. So I want you to say Y with me. Ready? Y. Y. Okay, what's the name of this letter? Y. And what is the sound it makes? Y. I have a little song for you. You know I love songs, and here's how it goes. The Y says Y. The Y says Y. Every letter makes a sound. The Y says Y. So you can practice that when you're learning Y. Now I'm going to undo this just a little because my big line was a little bit crooked. I'm going to try to draw a better big line. There you go. Okay. Now I know you're looking over at my paper here and you can see some things that start with the letter Y. I'm going to cover those up. And I want you to think about it. What is something that starts with Y? Y. I have some cards that I'm going to show you. And these might match some of the pictures you thought of, maybe some of the ideas you had. The first one is yak. Yeah. And you can see how to spell yak back here. Y-A-K, yak. The next one is yo-yo. Yeah, yeah, yo-yo. And look at how they spell it. Y-O dash Y-O. It's two little words put together. The next one I have is very colorful. Yarn. See what I'm saying? The beginning of yarn. I'm making that Y sound. Now let's see how they spelled yarn. Y-A-R-N. Yarn. The next is a beautiful yard. Y. Yard. Do you hear the Y at the beginning of yard? Let's check and make sure. Y-A-R-D. Yes. Oh, and I just said another one. Yes. Maybe you were thinking of that too. You know, when we're in class, I love to draw on the whiteboard, and I'm going to try to draw here, but whoa, look at my funny handwriting. Yes. Okay, here's the last one for Y. It's the color yellow. Can you say yellow? Yellow. Feel your mouth making that Y sound. Y-E-L-L-O. Mrs. Vega almost just did something that I've heard a couple of you do, which is to mix up Y and W. Sometimes we say that because Y, when we say the name of Y, we're making a W sound, wah, wah. So sometimes our brains get a little confused, even mine, and that's okay. That's why we're practicing. So if we go back to the paper that you are going to be seeing here in your packet, here it is. They have a Y here, and look at this nice line that they have that's going to help you. I'm going to actually maybe close out my little whiteboard because thank you for bearing with me. Maybe my next video I'll have this a little bit better down. So here's a Y here for Jack. Yeah, yeah. They did a little line and a big line. And you'll see the big line is a little bit slanted, as is this little line here. And when you're writing a lowercase y, you want to make that big line go way down past this line here. And you want to start it at the midline, this little dotted line here. And when you're writing your y's at home, I hope that you will try to do your very best handwriting and get it to match. Now they threw some tricky ones in here. This is a vest. Does that sound like Y? Oh, that's like my letter, V, Vega. So we're not gonna write a Y there, but it is pointing to something here on an egg that we didn't talk about. It's a yolk. Yeah, say it with me, yolk. That has a Y. Oh, and there's the ball of yarn. So you get the idea. What I want you to do with your parents is to practice yo-yo, yogurt. You're going to draw a little line and a big line for all of those things that start with Y. And if you're able to, I'd love if you sent me a picture of your work. I think that would be really great. And now we're going to talk about the next letter that's on this page. Now there's not a lot of words that we talk about that start with this letter, but it is really fun to say. The next letter is Z. So if we get our drawing here, a Z is kind of like a zigzag. That's how you can remember it. You do a little line, and a little line. And you're just kind of zigzag. So what's the name of this letter? Z. And the sound it makes is Z. So when you make Z, you're going to open your mouth just kind of halfway and put your tongue at the top, and you can feel it kind of vibrating and buzzing, kind of like a buzzy bee. You try it. Z. So what's the name of this letter? Z. And what's the sound it makes? Z. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple more pictures with the Z words. And let's see if you know what they are. Zipper. Zipper. Do you hear the Z in zipper? I want you to try to say it. Zipper. Good job. Now here's how we spell it. It's a big word. Z-I-P-P-E-R. Next, whoa, look at this wild animal. What is this? It's a zebra. Zebra. You say it. Zebra. And zebra is spelled Z-E-B-R-A. Zebra. And the last picture I have is a sign at a really fun place you can go with a lot of animals where they live. And that's called a zoo. Zoo. You say it with me. Zoo. Z-O-O. Two O's together say ooh. Z-oo. Zoo. Very good. Now, if you're looking at your paper here, we have a couple of those same things. There's the zoo. There's the zebra. There's a little line, little line, little line. And when you're practicing writing these zigzaggy lines for Z. Do your best handwriting and go slow and careful. I'm gonna end this little session here with a little song, and it goes like this. The Z says Z, the Z says Z. Every letter makes a sound, the Z says Z. So I want you to practice that with your families. Now, for those of you that are working on learning some little new words, let's see, can I get rid of this little whiteboard? I think I can. Share screen. Thanks for being patient with me. There we go. Okay, so you'll notice that I have this. I'm going to use this one because this is the one we use in our classroom. The 3 boxes where we can put little words. This page is page 5 in your packet, and you're going to be practicing sounding out some 3-letter words that start with Y and Z. So I'm going to practice them with you. You can see that they've written the word yak here, and I'm going to write it on my board too. Yeah. Let's say it slow. Y. And say it fast. Yak. I want you guys to try it with me. Ready? Y. And fast. Yak. Very good. Now we are going to go ahead and try the next word. And you can see the next one, this little zebra is zipping his coat. So we're going to try writing the word zip. And we're going to read it too. Z, zip. Oh, I've got it upside down. Try it again. Z. Oh boy. Let me try that again. I got a little distracted. Sometimes adults get distracted too. Z, zip. You try reading it now. Say it slow first. Z, you say it. Zip. So when you're practicing this page, you can go ahead and write it, take a picture of it, and send it to me. I'd love to see what you're doing. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next goal, which is for math. Last week, you were working on your shapes in your packet. So I wanted to review that a little bit with you, and then we're going to move on to counting, which is going to be really fun. So I'm going to say the target, and then you say it. Math. I know my shapes. Corners, which is another word for vertices, and sides. So let's say it again. I know my shapes. Corners, or vertices, and sides. And you'll see that I drew the shapes that we were studying. Triangle, circle, square, rectangle, hexagon. And then the new target for this week is you're going to practice writing the numbers 11 through 19. So I can count and write 11 through 19. So if I move my little camera over here, you are going to get a little sneak peek at the numbers and our pattern for the month of May. I loaded it up so that we could do this activity. And what you'll see is Mrs. Vega's kind of done something funny and put some on the extra side here where there's no day, but that's okay because we're just doing this to work on counting. So we're going to practice that and we're going to count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the numbers we're practicing been focusing a lot this week are the new ones coming up. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I couldn't resist. I had to put 20 because that's what comes after 19 and it's fun to say. So I'm going to go ahead and remove some of these numbers. And I want you to help me figure out what's coming next. Okay. So if we're counting on, that's something you can do when you start to know your numbers really well. And now that I've done that, I can move it where it's supposed to be. Oh, that's better. And what we can do is we can just count on from 10. We don't have to start all the way back at 1. We can just count on from 10 where we left off. So I want you to count with me. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, now I want you to notice these numbers all have 2 digits in them, and the place value is, like if we were looking at the 20, there is a 0 in the ones place and a 2 in the tens place. So all the numbers you're writing today are going to have 2 digits. And if we look at 11, 11 has 2 ones. And when you write it, you're just going to write straight lines for 11. 12 has a 1 in the tens place and a 2 in the ones place. 12. 13 has a 1 in the tens place and a 3 in the ones place. 14, 1 in the tens place, 4 in the ones place. Now this is where it gets a little confusing sometimes. 15, 16, they sound so much alike. And sometimes kids forget to say one of them. So really pay attention and slow down when you're counting and make sure that you say both 15 and 16. This is 15 and it's got a 1 in the tens place and a 5 in the ones place. 16, 1 in the tens place, 6 in the ones place. Just a couple more numbers to go and then we're going to do something else with shapes. 17 has a 1 in the tens place and a 7 in the ones place. 18, a 1 in the tens place and an 8 in the ones place. 19, this is our last number we're going to talk about. A 1 in the tens place and a 9 in the ones place. Now I have a little treasure box here. And what I want you to do with your family, can you see my treasure? Whoa. I wonder how many diamonds are in there. When you are done watching this video, I want you to go run to around your house and I want you to find 20 things. I don't care what they are, but I want you to lay them all out and count them. Now my diamonds, I'm going to dump them out here on my tray and then we're going to count them together. Okay. Can you guess how many there's going to be? I'm going to take this down. And here we go. Ready? Count with me. We're going to go one at a time so we can really make sure we get the right amount of diamonds. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, that's a big one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to slow down so I get all those numbers. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. There's 19 diamonds in my treasure box. I can't wait to hear what you find. If you want to tell me, have your parents tell me over email or send me a picture of what you found. I'd love to see it. We're going to do one more thing. I'm going to share my screen again. And I want to talk to you about the shapes. I love studying shapes because they're so colorful and there's shapes everywhere in our world. So I want to start with a circle. See this green circle here? That is interesting because there are no corners or vertices and there are no sides. All it has are curves. So a circle is kind of a unique shape. It's different than the other ones because there are no corners, which are called vertices, and no sides. Now, if we look at this shape, this is a triangle. That's right, a triangle. How many sides does it have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. 3 sides. And I wonder how many corners or vertices it has. Should we check? 1, 2, 3. Yes. Did you notice that the number of sides and vertices is the same? They're both 3. I see some other triangles here that are shaped a little bit different. This one is called an equilateral triangle because all of the sides are equal. But this one is a different kind of a triangle. It has a long side here and a long side here and then a shorter one here. This is called a right triangle. And let's see, does it have the same amount of sides and vertices as this triangle here? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 3 corners or vertices and 1, 2, 3 sides. You'll notice that with all of the other triangles here, they all have 3 corners and 3 sides. Now we're going to talk about a square. And the square is up here in the corner. How many sides and vertices do you think a square has? Take a minute and think about it. Let's see if you're right. We'll count the sides first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4 sides. And how many vertices? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 vertices. Now look at this. This is very interesting. Down here in the corner, this looks like a diamond, doesn't it? And you're right, it is a diamond, but this is actually the same shape as this one. They are both squares. This is just a diamond. It's a square that has been rotated on its side. So we can count and see that it also has 4 vertices and sides, which makes it a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll notice that all of the sides are the same length, which makes it a square. If you look over at this shape, this one also has 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's a little bit different. We call this shape a rectangle. How do you know if it's a rectangle or a square? Oh, they look so similar. Well, I'll tell you. If 2 of the sides are longer and the other 2 sides are shorter, then it's a rectangle. And that's how you can tell. There's one last shape, and this is that I wanted to talk about, and this one is a little harder to remember, I think. Let's count how many sides it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo, 6. This is called a hexagon. You say it with me. Hexagon. And let's count how many vertices there are. I wonder if it has 6, just like the amount of sides. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It does. So a hexagon has 6. To review, a triangle has 3 sides and vertices. A square has 4 sides and vertices. A circle has no sides and vertices. It just has curves. A rectangle has 4 sides and vertices. And a hexagon has 6 sides and vertices. In your packet this week, you'll notice that there's some papers about shapes, and they're a little bit of a test to see, did we teach you everything you need to know about shapes? If you could take it and take a picture of it, I would love to see it. Well, that's all I have for today. I want to end by reviewing our 2 learning targets for reading and math. Reading was I know the name and sound for Y, y, and Z, z. And math is I know my shapes, vertices and sides for those shapes, triangle, circle, square, rectangle, and hexagon. And I can count and write 11 through 19. I miss all of you. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next week with a new video for the new work. Bye-bye.